So I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, which I know a lot of people will say, why are you doing a drive through Omaha? It's not even a dangerous city. And, you know, I'd agree with anybody that would say that, because it's not really a dangerous city. Let's start that over. So I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, and this isn't a city that most people think of when they think of dangerous cities, and it's not, but it is considered the most dangerous city in the state of Nebraska. And its year-over-year crime is increasing by 6% a year. So if you take even the safest city and you start increasing their crime by 6% a year, and each year it grows a little bit, it doesn't take long before you take a city that was once good and turn it bad. And that's kind of part of the reason I wanted to drive through here, is I just kind of wanted to see what it looks like today, because in 5 years, if the crime keeps increasing, which it has done here since 2020, if it continues to increase, we can see what it looks like, you know, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and if it's changed at all. So far it looks really clean, although we're in the downtown, and oftentimes they keep the downtowns looking halfway decent. And I'm gonna weave up a couple of these streets just to get a kind of a look at what the downtown looks like. A little bit. Pothole there, huge double tree. So the city has a population of 480,000 people. And it's been declining since 2020. So in 2020, not only did the crime start rising, but the people started moving out. And I don't remember hearing about like them having riots or anything here, although maybe they did. And just because it's Omaha, you didn't really hear about it the same way you did with, like, you know, Minneapolis and that. But it's possible they had riots here that, you know, pushed people out. Otherwise, I don't know why they would have, why their population would start declining at the same time as, you know, coincidentally, if you believe in coincidence, that the crime started rising. And they're losing, you know, it's 480,000 people. They're losing about 4,000 people a year. So that's not really a lot when you think of it in terms of how many people live here, but any drop in population that's significant affects the city. I don't know what the deal is with this GoPro tipping over. Okay, the city is 64% white, 12% black. Can't turn there. .4% white, 12% black, and 15% Hispanic. And have a marriage rate of about 45%, which is actually pretty good. The average income is around $45,000, which is decent for a city like this. Poverty rate is around 12%, which is kind of normal. I mean, it's not, it sounds like a big number, but it's kind of normal. And 61% of the people that live here were born here. And apparently 8% of the people that live here are non-citizens. And I never really trust that number when they say the non-citizens, because those are the number of people that are admitting that they're here illegally, and that might not be the actual number that it is, but 8% is fairly significant in a city of this size. But over, like, since 2007, the homicides have been as low as 22 in 2018 and as high as 48 in 2015. So their homicides here really fluctuate kind of a lot. And the murder rates have stayed below 11, which is, in my opinion, would be considered regular city bad. It's not anything in around 10, and that is kind of just the regular city bad. But their assaults have really been on the rise. And that's been mainly since 2020. Which, that was a common thing in a lot of cities. A lot of cities that don't necessarily have a lot of homicides, they saw a rise in their assaults in 2020, and that's, I mean, it's not the same, but it's almost just as bad if your assault rate is rising. And last year, in 2022, they had 29 reported homicides for a murder rate of 6. So the homicides got slightly better. And your odds of becoming a victim of a crime here is 1 in 25, which is kind of about normal too. So far, there's nothing too overly impressive, good or bad, about this city. And the crime here is 73% higher than the national average. And the violent crime is 52% higher. So again, both of those are like regular city bad numbers. They're not really high. 100 is where I put kind of the regular city bad. So they're slightly better than what would be regular city bad. Yeah, you don't see people sleeping on the street here. The roads are decent. There's not garbage everywhere, which all of that is stuff that's, these people are, all of that is stuff that's kind of a sign of a city on decline. They don't have that here yet. And the schools are right around the normal with the national average, which isn't necessarily good. I mean, the national average for the test scores is 48%, meaning 48% of the students graduate at grade level for, reading and math. And there's a little bit of graffiti there. And the cost of living here is lower than the national average. So, if you're looking for a cheaper place to live that's safe or relatively safe, this might be a good city for you. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And there's nothing really exceptionally good or exceptionally bad about the city. It's just kind of one of your average middle of the road Midwest type cities. And I did look, they have between 1 and 3 mass shootings a year, which is kind of surprising for a city that doesn't, I mean, they have their share of homicides, but it's kind of a lot of mass shootings for a city like this. But it's clean, it's relatively safe. But this is another downtown. If you go to downtowns in the United States nowadays, ever since 2020, and I don't know, I don't remember the last time I was here. I've been here before, but it was well before COVID. But since COVID, if you go to downtowns in these cities, they're almost deserted. This is 11:29 on a Thursday, and there are hardly any cars down here, and maybe that's the way it was before. But I remember I went through Milwaukee a while back, earlier, like in February of 2023, and that was pretty much a ghost town. This isn't that much better. There are cities where they're still busy, but for the most part, a lot of them look like this nowadays. Everybody's working from home or trying to get out. This was probably a boring video. There wasn't a whole lot to look at. The city's not all that exciting, and the statistics on the city aren't that good either, or aren't bad at all to even talk about. But I wanted to come through here because I just kind of wanted to get a look at it before things go bad, because it's starting to head that way here. It's just not there yet.